Hello and welcome to Talking with Famous People. My name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People. I'm here with some very exciting guests in the room, including Claudia, Mommy, JC, Jill Stein, Anytime, L, Megabro, and Yubi. We're talking about the suggestive and mobilizing function. I had a little freak out in the last video, which I probably aren't going to upload, because I once again got it wrong. Here's the correct numbering for Socionics numbers and Myers-Briggs numbers. Myers-Briggs number 1 equals Socionics 1, 2 equals 2, 3 equals 6, 4 equals 5, 5 equals 7, 6 equals 8, 7 equals 4, and 8 equals 3. So now you know the important and exciting truth about Socionics numbers and Myers-Briggs numbers. Let's move on to reading these things about the suggestive function and talking about it. You bet I won't guess? Okay, I won't. You win the bet. Suggestive function. The suggestive function is also called the dual-seeking function. The function finds it difficult to be overwhelmed by this element, since it perfectly complements and drives the activity of the leading function. The more it is present in his daily life, the more he will naturally adapt to its presence. See dualization. They are easily entertained by this kind of information, and sustained presence creates a soothing psychological effect. If someone experiences a deficiency of it in an environment, he may attempt to supply it himself, but soon becomes exhausted. Unlike the mobilizing function, concentrated and prolonged doses from other people are perceived positively, depending somewhat on the individual's degree of dualization. A little bit, Coach Abe. Yeah, I'm spreading. Spreading is short for speed reading and debate. Why are you weird for being here, JC? I think you're normal for being here. Okay. So the question then about the suggestive function that comes into play is, what is a suggestive function? What do they mean by dual seeking? And what do they mean by easily entertained, that you can have is good for you, all that sort of stuff? Well, in this instance, the function is the fifth function in Socionics. And the fifth function in Socionics, the suggestive function, correlates with the with the fourth function in Myers-Briggs. So what that means is it's SI. Okay, the suggestive function for me is SI as an ENTP. If you're an INTP, your suggestive function then would be FE. If you're an INTJ, your suggestive function would be SE. I think that's you. You make a lot of sound noise, like breathing noise and stuff into the mic. So I'm gonna. Can you either mute yourself, and when you want to talk, go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, cool. This suggestive function to me makes perfect sense what it says there. Am I easily entertained by that kind of information? Yeah, actually I am. Like, I could sit and watch. I think what they mean by that is I'm easily entertained in a number of different ways by SI. SI is about your body feelings, and I like massages, and I like cigarettes and soda and sweet things and little body experiences of all sorts. But it's also, I'm easily entertained by what other people might consider narcissistic, by my own media, because it helps me understand who I am better. Additionally, I'm easily entertained by even videos about organization and stuff. That's one area where my ex-wife and I would have no problem sharing some media tastes. She liked to watch the home improvement channels where they'd have like, and then we got these containers and we organized our shit like that, and I could sit there and watch that stuff and be entertained enough by it. I thought it was fairly interesting. I liked it. It felt so aspirational to me. And of course, her active participation in providing me all the SI shit, as far as scheduling and stuff like that goes, and keep track of shit, was vastly and immensely appreciated, and is much needed in my life currently. So that's my thoughts on that, as it's called, suggestive function. And I'm wondering if any of the other participants here have any notions on that. Let's start with JC. JC, you got any thoughts on that? Yours would be NI. That'd be your suggestive function.
I don't know if I heard everything that you said about the suggestive function, but was it pretty much like we have a will to kind of do those things, like it kind of tailors our actions in a way?
I'll give you a better answer to, I'll give you a recap of it basically right now, but can you please, when you speak again, get as close to the mic as possible? It basically says that you'll appreciate outside help in this area, so that while I might appreciate somebody coming in and scheduling my life for me, you're not going to appreciate that. But what you'd appreciate is somebody coming in and telling you which of all of your things are the truest paths for yourself to follow, so you have a better sense of what you ought to do in life, and which of your beliefs that you are weighing between is more true than the other. That you'll actively appreciate someone coming in and helping you sort that out and taking some sort of an advisorial role. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what that suggestive function thing basically said.
Oh, so I'm like NI seeking.
Yeah, NI seeking.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might be a little bit. Like when you said that didn't sound like a horrible thing for me to have someone come in and do that type of stuff for me. Just kind of tell me where I'm supposed to go, and I'll go there. That's great.
But see, not so much the scheduling thing, but helping you decide why and convincing you, like, okay, yes, JC, you're on the right path here. This is the choice you should be making. I've helped you determine which of the possible choices that you had in front of you is correct, and now I'm reassuring you that it's the right choice. And I think everybody wants that to a certain extent, but that they're framing it as though here's some NI common sense factual. Here you go, JC. You can count on this. It's true as the sound as the American dollar. True as a nugget of gold.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how I phrase it. Like, tell me where to go, because I think like that's the path. I'm like, any doesn't think like that's the path. SE and not like the path. So
You sounded so good for 1 second, JC. You sounded so perfect for 1 second, and then you sound like you've been swallowed by a lion again.
I don't know.
Okay, let's ask somebody else. L, do you have anything about that? Are you L. Lorenz Walker? Or is that Jill Stein anytime winky face emoji? Or are you somebody else? Oh, that's Lorenz Walker is Jill Stein anytime winky face emoji. L, do you have anything to say about this? Claudia, based on this description we just gave of the suggestive function, if you're still listening, I wonder if you have any idea about which you think is more likely to be your suggestive function. Is it more? Do you feel like it's more like FE, extroverted feeling, or do you feel like it's more like SI, introverted sensing? I mean, not introverted sensing. Yeah, that's what. No, it would be extroverted sensing. Sorry, extroverted sensing. Introverted sensing, says Claudia. Well, see, that would be leaning more towards INTP, because introverted sensing would be closer to that in the stack. What about extroverted sensing? Which do you think it's more like, extroverted sensing or more like extroverted feeling? Okay, well that would again suggest INTP as opposed to INFP. All right. So regardless of that, if the Socionics model is correct, then it would be one way to help us type somebody is to say, well, which one of these feels more like your suggestive function, your fourth function? How about you, Mega Bro? Do you have any comments on this topic so far?
I wasn't catching any of that. I was editing my notes.
Okay. How about you, Yubi? You got any thoughts on this?
The suggestive function.
Right.
I mean, other than, let's see, the description says, yeah, I mean, what you were saying, where it says they are easily entertained by this kind of information, or they kind of seek that information. I agree with it. I mean, at least in my case, I feel like I am an avid people watcher. I mean, if that.
You like to consume FE. You like to consume facial expressions and
Yes.
stuff like that. But you probably wouldn't think of yourself as somebody who does.
No, I do. I do that, but I would say more so than consuming the physical. Whereas in, like, I think ENTPs, for instance, they watch, at least with my friends, they tend to really watch people's body language and things. Where I will watch body language, but more so I watch people's ideas and the way that they say things and the way they construct their ideas. I kind of make like a mental model of their heads, not of their so much of
Interesting.
their where I would be able to predict their body language. I'd be able to predict what they're better be able to predict after I get to know someone what they're thinking, maybe after a certain situation or something like that.
It's interesting you talk about reading body language, and I would also put in that same realm facial expressions, because I think that ENTPs have the ability to do that. I think I do have the ability to do that. I think I'm so habitually visual that I don't actually often look. I often am not looking at people's faces, probably intentionally because I'm listening. I mostly pick up audio cues about emotional stuff more than visual cues. But I think that's by habit and choice. I think I could pick up the visual stuff when it's right in front of me, when I'm not having to visualize anything.
Yeah, well, and I don't know. I was drawing most of that information specifically from my best friend, which I know for sure is an ENTP, and I know he watches body language like a ton. I mean, we have conversations about it, and he just does. I don't know. It's just something he pays attention to a little bit more than I do.
Right.
But,
any other thoughts from anybody else in the room on this? And then I think we're going to end this video and go on to the sixth function, the mobilizing function. We just talked about the suggestive function. Any other thoughts?
I wonder, does Socionics say anything about it in the description about this function being like particularly like really weak? Because it always in Myers-Briggs, it's called the inferior. Like they always make it seem to people like as if you are so shitty with this function. Like,
well,
but I don't know. I don't have that experience with myself.
Socionics explains it, I think, a lot better, and I think the best explanation is to say the fourth function is a function we'd love to have operating concurrently with our first function, but they have to take turns in our existing setup. And so if we can get somebody else to come in and play fourth function for us, Myers-Briggs fourth, Socionics fifth, suggestive function for us, then we're stoked. I'm stoked. If I can get somebody to come in and play suggestive function for me, it's going to let me roll any all the time and clean up after me and organize shit for me. Spectacular.
I see what you mean. Or about that. I agree with that, because if someone has a real strong FE or they put it out, then I can easily roll with it. Like
Right.
I'll kind of
They're just
clearing.
they're clearing FE barriers for you. You be as rude as you want, honey. You're the genius. I love you. This is your spouse, okay? This is your ideal spouse. I love you. I'll clear all these barriers for you by dealing with all the FE shit. I'll be nice to everybody. If you're rude, I'll explain to them that, well, that's just how he is. You gotta excuse him. He's the resident genius. And then you're fucking stoked. You're in heaven.
Hell no. I mean, I don't want to be rude to anyone, so that sounds dumb to me. But
What I'm saying
I
is...
get what you're saying. I'm giving you a hard time.
Okay, fine. See, you need your spouse to come in and say, he's joking, he's joking.
There you go.
He's joking.
Point made. Point
All right.
made. Well done.
So, okay, cool. Let's end this video. That's good timing, and then we'll move on to the other one, the what's known as the poop function.